But the way she's phrasing it is just crazy. And we'll get more of that, okay? We'll get more of that. Trust me. That's not even true. This is... How can you still say this anymore? You can't say this anymore. It's just not the case. She's so annoying. The baby voice makes you... That's like the level of cringe you're about to experience. So lock in, okay? This is rough. This is a cinematic masterpiece here. We don't hit the peak until like the very last like few minutes. And that would be a really good time to backstab Destiny. Like, that just comes off as so insecure, no? What dude, reserving it for very important key moments. What do you think is more of an important key moment than the attempted assassination of a former president? So, Not So Erudite has put out a video called Dealing with Destiny's Meltdown. I can't imagine... I can't imagine Destiny's a fan of that title. I can't imagine this guy. It's like, oh yeah, it's a base title. Like your friend, to be your psychologist friend. Not psychologist. Your pretend psychologist friend. Not So Erudite. Puts out a video saying that she's dealing with your meltdown. As if she's like a handler. Or a childminder. Okay. She does booking. She's like a PA. Yeah, she's a tard herself. She'd be the worst tard wrangler in the world. Oh, you can't see dislikes. All those dislike extensions are fake. Don't trust any of that dumb shit. They're all fake. They're retarded. They're just estimates. Anyway, yeah, she's a cockwash. She's an ego stroker. But we're gonna watch this video. We're gonna watch this video. It's fucking atrocious. I'm warning you now. It's fucking horrific. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. She says some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard her say in this video. And we're also going to see some of like the most... Like, if you hate the way Not So Erudite acts around Destiny and DGG, this video will send you into a fucking state. Honestly. So let's take a look. Let's give it a go.
To do good people should want to do good things. And if he doesn't help, he doesn't get to claim he's a good person. Number one is being mean ethically. Because everyone's just like, oh, they're yelling, they're being mean. They're being bad. It's like, no. And if he wants to do that, unfortunately, he has to pay the price of that.
She's like trying to mother Destiny. Yeah, absolutely. Dude, oh my God.
I am gonna probably talk to Steven. I was trying to weigh about whether it would be better to talk to him publicly or privately, because I have... So, and just so people are aware, this is not a virtue signal at all. I don't really care that he's being mean.
This is not a virtue signal at all. I don't care that he's been... Okay. So she's like immediately like the trash panda chip is activating. Listen, DGGers, I'm about to criticize Destiny, but understand that I'm not virtue signaling, okay? I'm not like the lefties. Please don't turn on me.
So, and just so people are aware, this is not a virtue signal at all. I don't really care that he's being mean. I expressly don't care that he's being mean. I think his insensitivity to the guy who died is optically stupid.
Chill.
Fundamentally, I don't care morally that much. I think it's just neutral. I don't really care.
Calm down.
My biggest concern is that I don't believe that he's acting within the moral values that he holds for himself.
How? How could you possibly think that? I understand maybe if you think Destiny's got like this super hardline take on political violence. If you've somehow been tricked into believing that, then maybe you would think that. That's the only way I can see it. But Destiny has said, I remember so many debates where Destiny's gotten into arguments like conservatives and shit because he said stuff like, yeah, there's definitely cases for political violence. Yeah, rioting against public institutions can be fine. Yeah, he says the N-word. He say the N-word all the time. Yeah. Like, what what value is he not holding? I don't know. I truly don't know.
And I think, like, as a friend, the only time that I think is really appropriate to opt to confront your friend instead of when they ask for feedback is when they're doing things that you think fly in the face of what they think is good.
You can only confront friends when they're being inconsistent. What? What? What a weird standard to set. What a bizarre way to operate. I mean, maybe she operates. I don't believe it. I think she's just coming up with a rule that allows her to say, look, I don't usually impose on Destiny, but this time I feel like I have to. That's how it feels. But I could be, maybe she does hold this consistently throughout her life. It's just a very odd way to engage. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Appropriate to opt to confront your friend instead of when they ask for feedback is when they're doing things that you think fly in the face of what they think is good. And so that's basically what I want to talk to him about. We've had a number of conversations privately about this as well. Just so it's clear, I've confronted him in the past privately. It's actually gone super well. I don't know if this will go as well. But I basically believe a lot in Steven.
So she's like scared of doing this. I don't know if this will go as well. My God.
And I don't know if he believes that he's really capable. I think he's like always on the fence about like whether he wants to step into like having a more major role on. But I basically believe a lot in Steven, and I don't know if he believes that he's really capable. I think he's like always on the fence about like whether he wants to step into like having a more major role on politics broadly, because he has such a massive impact already. But for him,
I can't. She can't just say something like, oh, he's always on the fence about whether he wants to step into the mainstream or not. She has to say, but he's really great already. He's amazing how he is already. He's amazing how he is now. He's perfect now. He's perfect how he is, but he could be better. She literally can't just give like a straight criticism or a straight statement without hedging it in a bunch of cocksucking beforehand. Why do you think she's doing this? Because DG already hate her enough, and she realizes she just has to be a complete like pick me house slave and appeal desperately to their sensibilities to try and keep good graces, is my sense of it.
Him to get to that next level, he would basically have to pay things, which would be some level of like biting his tongue. He'd probably have to bleed. He bit his tongue so hard. Reserving his power level at times, and giving people mercy who do not fucking deserve it, which is a very, very, very big act.
Like, so even here, she's asking him to stop saying that it's based if firemen get killed, basically. But the way she's phrasing it is just crazy. She's basically saying, yeah, he's right about everything, but I still think he should stop, because she can't just take it. She's not confident enough to disagree on the actual substance of a point. Because
he has such a massive impact already.
It just comes off totally like, oh, he's really fucking bridges up. He's really fucking bridges up, and we'll get more of that, okay? We'll get more of that. Trust me.
Politics broadly, because he has such a massive impact already. But for him to get to that next level, he would basically have to pay things, which would be some level of like biting his tongue. He'd probably have to bleed. He bit his tongue so hard. Reserving his power level at times, and giving people mercy who do not fucking deserve it, which is a very, very...
Yeah. You know the phrase spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down? Well, with Freaky Steve, it's a mouthful of cum.
Very big ask. It is a cost, and it's thankless. No one will appreciate him for it, and people will hate him for it, and he'll lose growth, probably initially, and it is probably good for him to do, and he can do it. And I think he's like uniquely positioned as like a rare person who can do it, because he's like one of the strongest liberal debaters. So he can really go to task with people on policy, whereas most liberals are afraid to even talk to the opposition because...
That's not even true. How can you still say this anymore? You can't say this anymore. It's just not the case. It's just not the case. Progressives, maybe you can say that about. Progressives, but for like moderate libs, dude, like half of the media is moderate libs, and they've kind of dropped the attitude of you can't platform people. That's kind of fallen by the wayside now. It's just not true that there aren't moderate libs who talk extensively about policy. That's just not true at all. It's delusion to just make it feel like, well, not even delusion, but it's a total misunderstanding, because she's just assumed that Destiny is special.
I think to some degree, liberals are just afraid of their own positions. They're just afraid of pushback, because the reality is that a lot of pushback to a lot of like leftist ideas is immediately bears
Yeah,
up as being
it's not about streaming. It's about the. I think she's talking about the mainstream right now. But even in streaming, yeah. What do you mean? Where are the libs? There was like a whole several years of 1 million like our relevance and shit like that floating around.
stupid, and so they just don't want to talk to anyone, which is just not the way forward, obviously.
Food Shops super chatted $9.99. All of Destiny's Trump videos have more views than the Boogie ones, and the internet loves him on Boogie. This is gonna get him to 1 million subs.
Thank you for the 999, Max.
So yeah, he is right about having been too tolerant, though. Of conservatives, he needs to be straightforward with false beliefs. Yeah, I mean, there's maybe. I would need to know what he means by too tolerant. I have no idea what that means, I guess. And he doesn't, just to be clear, I don't think he has to step into this. I think he can like exist as he is neutrally, and that's just fine. But I think he shouldn't.
Wow.
Basically. I don't need to babysit.
Who are these mythical libs who are afraid to talk about politics? Taylor Swift. Yeah, for real. Like, what? I thought the complaint is usually libs talk about politics too much. I thought that was usually the thing people went for. People bitch about like Mark Ruffalo or something coming out and saying Orange Man bad. I just don't understand.
That's it, Destiny. Just to be clear, I'm not talking about him like he's a child. He's my friend that I respect a lot, actually. And because I respect him and his moral system, and I think that he's fundamentally aims to be good, that's why I want to talk to him. That's why. But just to be clear, it's not going to be about all of your tone policing shit, okay? So don't at me. When people are like, are you going to tell him to stop being mean? No. No, I'm not. In fact, if there's...
That is what you're going to do. You're going to tell him to stop being mean so that you can try and preserve your connections and career. That is what she's going to do. That's her point here, no?
Just to be clear, I'm not talking about him like he's a child. He's my friend that I respect a lot, actually. Sure. And because I respect him and his moral system,
he's like your little baby.
I think that he's fundamentally aims to be good. That's why I want to talk to him. That's why. But just to be clear, it's not going to be about all of your tone policing shit, okay? So don't at me. When people are like, are you going to tell him to stop being mean? No. No, I'm not. In fact, if there's one thing, Glitterbell, maybe you'll have my back here. If there's one thing liberals need to be better at, it's being mean. We should have been very mean to leftists the moment they popped their stupid little heads up, the moment they were like, oh, have you ever heard of microaggressions? We should have said, fuck you, you're stupid, shut the
That was not microaggressions are not a leftist thing. She's so stupid. She's so dumb. Microaggressions are not a leftist thing. That was like a liberal and progressive thing. That was like black ladies at work, like, you know, the light-skinned black lady with a college education saying she doesn't like the way men treat her in the office. That's what that was. That wasn't leftists. You're so dumb.
Okay, that should have just been done. All right. True. Being mean
that's the HR class with the light-skinned black lady, first one in her family to be educated, getting all uppity in her first job. That's what that comes from. Those are libs. Those are progressives. Those are not communists. Those are not socialists.
We should have been very mean to leftists the moment they popped their stupid little heads up, the moment they were like, oh, have you ever heard of microaggressions? We should have said, fuck you, you're stupid, shut the fuck up. Okay, that should have just been done. All right.
Like Stylo will hear at some point. Stylo will hear what I just said, and he'll say how real what I said was. Okay, he'll back me up.
True. Being mean is based. Being mean here's the thing. Okay, here's what our society needs to still develop our philosophy on. Number one is being mean ethically, because everyone's just like, oh, they're yelling, they're being mean, they're being bad.
Dude, she's so annoying. She's so annoying. The baby voice makes you.
Like, no. There are ways to be mean ethically and unethically. And the most important question...
Guys, why all of you immediately? Boyfriend in background, husband in background. Get that dog away from that white woman. Guys.
Is essentially, how do we make sure that we're doing it ethically? I am wandering off. I'm sorry. My dog's really cute, okay? She's a very cutie thing.
It's a she, guys.
And what in his recent behavior is in contradiction to his moral value system. Okay, him and I had a conversation once, okay? And we actually disagree about this, just to be super clear. We talked about explicitly this. We said, he told me this story after he was reading C.S. Lewis about a doctor in Africa. So here's the hypothetical. If there is a doctor in Africa.
Okay, this is great. This is just amazing.
Be super
This
clear.
is amazing. I want some, have we got?
I can't believe I don't even, good people should want.
We've got, some ethics heads in chat.
It's like, no, there are ways to be mean ethically and unethically. And the most important question is essentially, how do we make sure that we're doing it ethically? I am wandering off. I'm sorry. My dog's really cute. Okay. She's a very cutie thing. And what in his recent behavior is in contradiction to his moral value system. Okay. Him and I had a conversation once. Okay. And
here we go. Here we go. Okay, we're going to be given a parable. Okay, guys, there's going to be a parable given. And I want to see what people view as the problems with Erudite's thinking. Because I've got an opinion. I'll give my opinion. But I'll wait until you guys have said yours. Because I want to see if other people get the same vibe that I do without me saying it. Or have the same argument that I do without me saying it.
We disagree about this, just to be super clear. We talked about explicitly this. We said, he told me this story after he was reading C.S. Lewis about a doctor in Africa. So here's the hypothetical. If there is a doctor in Africa, and he is in this village, but he's just on vacation. And the village, there's some sort of injuries or some sort of problem that occurs that the doctor can help in. But he's on vacation. Is the doctor ethically required to help the village, essentially? Would he be a bad person if he didn't do that? Right? That's the hypothetical. And so my answer is no. He would not be a bad person if he didn't help, but he would be a good person if he did help.
Simpiaton super chatted $5. She gets lost in thought and starts bouncing. I don't think the dog being female impedes the usage of peanut butter.
Thank you for the $5. So it's the supererogatory Vosh talking point, isn't it? And what does she mean here? Be a good person. What does that mean? Surely it would be about the actions. Do you really judge people as like for a good people or bad people? Is that really your outlook, or neutral people? Or do you not look at the actions? It's just such a bizarre little response to this. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Didn't do that, right? That's the hypothetical. And so my answer is no. He would not be a bad person if he didn't help, but he would be a good person if he did help, and good people should want to do good things. And if he doesn't help, he doesn't get to claim he's a good person. He's just
like, what is this? I don't even understand what the fucking ethics argument is here. This seems retarded to me.
Is the doctor ethically required to help the village, essentially? Would he be a bad person if he didn't do that? Right? That's the hypothetical. And so my answer is no.
Yeah, good is good, bad is bad. This is level 1 Vosh.
He would not be a bad person if he didn't help, but he would be a good person if he did help, and good people should want to do good things. And if he doesn't help, he doesn't get to claim he's a good person. He's just a neutral person now. It's just like selfish, lazy, neutral.
Yeah, it's total. There's not a real argument there at all. If you're a good person, you should want to do good things. It's not about being a good person. Is the action, are you ethically obligated? Do you have an obligation? Just say no. You don't have an obligation to help. Even if you're a doctor who has specialist knowledge and ability. Just say no. I don't think you have to help with that. You're not doing anything wrong. We're not helping. But the going like, oh, you're a good person. If you're a good person, you should want to do good things. It's like this weird reformulation of the supererogatory argument. It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. And I feel like you can see the look on Destiny's face when she's giving this answer to him, can't you? I feel like you can imagine it. Like the look he must have had on his face, just like, okay. You can just imagine it.
Not be a bad person if he didn't help, but he would be a good person if he did help, and good people should want to do good things. And if he doesn't help, he doesn't get to claim he's a good person. He's just a neutral person now. It's just
Destiny,
like selfish,
Elliot,
lazy, neutral, whatever. Just a person. That would be my position. Steven's position, from my understanding, is that yes, he is ethically obligated to help the village people. He is required to, and if he doesn't, he's being immoral. And it's like, if that's the case, That essentially means with great power comes great responsibility. And I think with great power comes responsibility is a good thing. I think when people have great power and they use it responsibly, they are doing a good. When people with great power use it neutrally, they're doing neutral. And if they're using it poorly, they're being bad, obviously. And I think Stephen has the capacity.
Good things are good, neutral things are neutral, and bad things are bad. Second time she said that, by the way. She said it twice. Good things are good, neutral things are neutral, and bad things are bad. Thank you, Vosh. Thank you, Vosh. Thank you.
When people with great power use it neutrally, they're doing neutral. And if they're using it poorly, they're being bad, obviously. And I think Stephen has the capacity to do very, very, very incredible things. So if he believes in an obligation to act, and he's at this center point right now of being more informed than almost any political commentator on the planet, one of the best debaters on the planet, I know for a fact, Matt said this, Mr. Beat, which is, or was it was Harley. I'm so sorry. It was Harley. Harley said this, Harley Morenstein from Epic Mealtime.
Here we go.
He said, you know, you have a lot of influence, right? And Stephen's like, yeah, I mean, I've got like a decent sized following. And he's like, no. Influential people listen to you. And so there's different types of ways that streamers can impact people.
Guys, this is going to be, okay, look, lock in. This is going to feel like, you're going to feel like, you know, the astronauts, before they go into space, they have to go into like the gravity simulator thing where they sit in the pod and it spins them really fast, and their face, because of the G-force, their face like pushes back. That's like the level of cringe you're about to experience. So lock in, okay? This is rough. Okay? This is insane.
Epic Mealtime. He said, you know, you have a lot of influence, right? And Stephen's like, yeah, I mean, I've got like a decent sized following. And he's like, no. Influential people listen to you. And so there's different types of ways that streamers can impact people. And this is something I always think about, like the Sneeko effect. Sneeko was a really interesting character before he blew up, especially because when he was a really small YouTube creator, he had not a lot of subs, but a lot of much bigger content creators watched his content because it was really good, even if like the average viewer wasn't appreciating it because it was super thoughtful, all these sorts of things. Okay. I think Stephen is very much like that, just so much bigger because he already has a very dedicated audience as well. I think that Stephen has the capacity to do very good, but more importantly, I think he influences influential people as well. I think there are a lot of influential people. Mr. Beat said this too. Okay. I know a number of people have said this.
Here we go.
I book guests for Bridges. Okay. I can't even begin to tell you the amount of huge, and when I say huge, I mean like huge names. And I'm not going to drop them because Steven's being a big bad boy. And I don't want them feeling their names get attached to him because they, in private emails with me, talked about how much they love him as a thinker. But when I say huge, I mean people that I've emailed that I would have never expected to hear back from because they're not even streamers. They're like very important people who I invited to come on the thing. And they've said yes. They just like can't for like 6 months because they're so important. And they're like, I love him. But they're obviously not like big public supporters. I can't emphasize enough how much people are listening to Stephen that are influencing the world. And if you have that level of impact, if the thinkers and the shakers in the world are looking to you as a thought leader,
the thinkers and the shakers,
unfortunately, that means that you have a very large responsibility. And he can opt out of it. He can just say, I don't want to. Not going to do it.
Leave me alone.
He really can, okay? He can. But I think he's a good person, and a good person would want to fill that responsibility because nobody else will. I don't believe there's somebody that would take his place. I don't think there is anybody. But that's what I want to talk to him about, is that I believe in him a lot. But also to be clear that if he takes up that responsibility, it will come at a cost to him. Nobody will thank him for it. Nobody will appreciate him. A lot of people will be very, very mad at him, and it's probably the right thing to do. And it's up to him if he wants to do that. I could be wrong though. I don't know. But that's basically what I want to talk about.
Guys, we haven't even peaked yet. Listen, okay, this is a cinematic masterpiece here. We don't hit the peak until like the very last like few minutes. Okay.
Right now he knows. He's prepping all of his epic debate lines against me. But
we might hit a bit of a trough here, but it's going to climb. It's going to climb.
I would not burn the bridge with Stephen over this. I really don't agree with what he's doing, but the reality is that I don't end friendships with people because they have ideas that I disagree with or they do behavior that I disagree with. That's
So what do you end friendships over? You don't do it over beliefs they have, and you don't do it over things they do. So what is your criteria? I don't understand.
It's not what friendship means to me. And I think it's gross in a political public content space that people feel obligated to cut off friendships exclusively for optic benefits. That's not how I work. And I will never let the space change me over that. Never. I'm not interested. The reality is that, like, if there's any time that I was going to backstab Steven to like benefit from it, it's probably right now. I could probably get a huge audience for it. And I will never do that.
See, look, intrusive thoughts won there. She's she's throwing the idea around in her head. She's throwing the idea around in her head. It's in there. It's in the back. You know, she's toyed with it. She's sat there and thought, and that would be a really good time to backstab Destiny. Huh.
Because that's not what I'm interested in. And because I believe a lot in Steven. And I'm really good at doing work. You know, I can put in the hours.
She's really good at work. She's a workhorse, guys. She's a workhorse.
Pursue that if that's what he wants to do. And if he
She's
decides that he doesn't want to do that, that's okay. I'll just continue to support him in the other fashion that he would like. I'd be a little bit disappointed, but yeah.
Did she get Cherry in for this? I mean, I don't have Cherries around, but she could always jump on if she wanted to. I think she's even got the perms on my Discord.
Why do you believe in him? Why? I'm sick and tired of listening to political discourse. He's making being
I'll probably show it on JStalk.
Me political, every single thing, your profile picture.
If he's
what you share, what you DM.
Else.
In a democracy like you guys have in America specifically, there's an element where like the personal isn't political and the personal is political, right? And I believe part of the problem with the personal is political is that it turns people into team sports, which is bad. But I think it's important for people to realize that like their choices
like, what is she even saying? She's
political,
yammering.
Right? And I believe democracy like you guys have in America specifically, there's an element where like the personal isn't political and the personal is political, right? And I believe part of the problem with the personal is political is that it turns people into team sports, which is bad. But I think
isn't that the same for any democracy? Isn't the personal shit always ends up getting into politics, and the characters, the personalities always end up gaining some kind of following? That is the kind of nature of it. No,
I think it's important for people to realize that like their choices and implications have so many larger ripple effects than anyone wants to realize.
No, only in America.
This world
apparently.
is like deeply more connected than you ever thought. And I think being in the social creation space has like ran this home, because I used to like fight with Nick all the time about being like, not only am I a normal person, but I really, 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 really want to be a normal person. Being in the socialize that this world is like deeply more connected than you ever thought. And I think being in the social creation space has like ran this home, because I used to like fight with Nick all the time about being like, not only am I a normal person, but I really, 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 really want to be a normal person.
Dude, yeah, exactly. Yes, you try really hard to fit in. We know. That's why I call her a skinwalker. Yeah. I know. I really, really, really want to be a normal person. Imagine saying that. I can't imagine saying that. Like, that just comes off as so insecure, no? Like saying you really, really, really want to be a normal person. That comes off super insecure.
But the issue is every normal person is like 1 to 3 rooms away from the most important people in the world. I right now am like two rooms away from Joe Biden himself, based on some of my networking connects. That's fucking crazy. And that means people who are friends with me are like 3 rooms away. That's crazy to think about. But that also means that like I think being an individual is good, but I feel like something that gets so lost in society, and I'm not sure if it's because of like lack of religion or just like the education system isn't reinforcing this enough, which is that like to run a democracy means that everyone has to buy in. I think Steven says this all the time. And to run a civilization effectively that allows for maximum freedoms, that has created the best human experience on the planet, which is the American kind of new world democratic system. It is the best thing that has ever happened to humanity, bar none. It is the best. And if you want to protect that as something—
Hey, I don't know if you're a Larry's chatter, gay posting is not allowed. Okay, no gay posting. Come back tomorrow when you've learned to not be gay.
sacred, which you should do, just truly read a history textbook. If you're like, I don't know, man, democracy's kind of cringe. Okay, read about monarchy, you dumb f***, and do not think for a second that you would be a lord or lady, okay? You're in my chat, okay? We're all plebs. I'm a pleb. We're all plebs.
Oh, this is brilliant. Guys, did you hear that?
Read a history textbook. If you're like, ooh, if you want to protect that as something sacred, which you should do, just truly read a history textbook. If you're like, I don't know, man, democracy's kind of cringe. Okay, read about monarchy, you dumb.
Read about monarchy. Okay,
And
what's
do
monarchy?
not think for a second that you would be a
What's
lord or
monarchy?
lady, okay? You're in my chat, okay? We're all plebs. I'm a pleb. We're all plebs. I'm a serf, work in the field, okay?
A serf? Monarchy? A serf? Monarchy? Erudite? You're a Canadian. Erudite, you come from a monarchy. Do you think there are still serfs in Canada? That's feudalism, you stupid bitch. She's confused. She's saying, read a book, and then confusing a system of governance with an economic system. While saying, read a book. No, she didn't misspeak. No two tabs. She doesn't understand it. She didn't misspeak. That's not a misspeak, because it shows a fundamental lack of understanding about the concept. Because she's saying it's democracy or feudalism. But you could have feudalism is it would be like feudalism, socialism, capitalism, communism. Those would be the options. But then you could have a feudalistic democracy, a capitalist democracy, a socialist democracy, a communist democracy. It shows it's on, they're different things. They're on different levels. But then she goes on to explain the mechanics of feudalism when comparing it in contrast to democracy. But it's not it wouldn't be feudal. Feudalism and democracy aren't mutually exclusive. They were monarchies. The feudalism we had was pretty much all monarchies. But that doesn't mean it necessarily had to be. The one of them can be that one's an economic system and the other one's a system of government.
For sure. It's like the best we've ever created as humans. And I think it would be insane for us to not
Yes, you can have a communist democracy. Yes, you can have a communist democracy. Yes.
take that seriously. But the issue is that taking seriously what is happening.
The communism is about the ownership of the means of production, no? That's the key part of it, is that workers... Oh, well, there's that socialism. Communism is more about a planned economy, I think, or a fixed economy or something. I'm gonna have to look this up. Yeah, that's socialism is worker ownership. Communism, yeah, centrally planned. It's a planned or fixed. Yeah, centralized. Yeah.
Happening with the Supreme Court and Trump and the genuine threat that might be to American democracy cannot be where we say, so now political violence is justified. And to be clear, there is a line. There is a line where it's justified. I don't know if it's right here yet. I just don't know. I think like we exhaust every single institutional system.
That's a completely different argument. You can pretend that if you want. You can have this imaginary rightoid retarded cope. No one gives a fuck. I don't believe in communism. I don't believe in socialism. I believe in capitalism. But that's a retarded rightoid cope. The fact is that they're on completely different levels.
System first.
They are different things. They operate. They are different.
And I think that if
methods of organizing completely different systems, separate systems.
Stephen is genuinely afraid of democracy ending, I think he can potential. No, I think like we exhaust every single institutional system first. And I think that if Stephen is genuinely afraid of democracy ending, I think he can potentially be a coalition of voice and voices, because there are so many people that want to get.
He can be a coalition of voice and voices. Okay.
Behind Stephen. Really big names, really public names, really powerful people, and they never will, because they can't risk, unfortunately, pleb dumb fucks who just are like, this guy's mean, da, 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 and they won't sign up with him. You have to be willing to work with those people, and it comes at a cost, right? It does, but you can change the world if you want to, and he doesn't have to. He's not obligated in any world. He's not obligated, but I think he wants to, and I know that he could. And if he wants to do that, unfortunately, he has to pay the price of that, which is going to be biting his tongue, being thankless, having to put up with unbearably annoying people, giving people mercy who don't deserve it, giving people grace when they probably shouldn't have it, and being really brutally honest at just the right time, like reserving your like verbal rhetoric violence essentially for very important key moments. I think when today on the Twitter space,
dude, reserving it for very important key moments. What do you think is more of an important key moment than the attempted assassination of a former president?
Super chatted $1.99. I have no idea what this video is about.
Like, even under her paradigm here, it would still make sense. That was, if you're saying that he should do that in important key moments, then that was the important key moment. Otherwise, what is? It doesn't make any sense. She's clearly this is what's happened. Destiny's gone fucking wild. Also, thank you for the donor, Max. Destiny's gone fucking wild on Twitter. Okay? She's seen that it's collapsing, it's burning bridges. Okay? But it's burning bridges in more ways than one. And she's desperately started damage controlling on Twitter, being like, I think Destiny's going a little bit too far on this. And she's doing damage control. And she's saying it all, fucking kerosene getting poured on this bridge. It's all on bridges, getting the whole set's going up in flames. The whole set she spent 6 months working on is going up in flames in front of her eyes. And now she's getting on stream and she's trying to reason through how she can possibly, without betraying DGG, convince Destiny to put her career above his, basically, is what's being asked for here. She wants him to put her career above his. Because this sort of shit, this is Destiny's bread and butter. This going absolutely fucking crazy and getting a bunch of fucking arguments with dumb fucks who don't know the first thing about the topic they're talking about, and starting off looking insane and then winning people back over the course of a bunch of wins. That is Destiny's method, and has been for every big drama he's had, basically, or most of them, the ones that he initiated anyway. That is how he's grown. So she is asking him to stop what he does, stop doing his career method, his growth method, and do hers instead.
Food Shops super chatted $1.99. Thanks, I understand. Folded hands, I was too dumb to see.
Thank you, extra $2.
Cases when he was going off on people, there was times where he was doing a really good job and times where he was not doing such a good job. But there were times where he was dropping bars, he was calling people out hard. I was like, yes, true. And then there were times where he's like, you probably don't need to be chanting like BLM, yes, and the white saber. Yeah, probably just not the best. Talk him into it. I will never talk somebody into the responsibility that I think Stephen could achieve, because it's not fun. Yeah, that is something somebody should fully choose for themselves if they want to. And if he doesn't want to, that's fine. He could just keep doing what he wants to do. That's also genuinely fine.
She's being so weird. What do you mean? She's always been like this. She's going a little bit crazier recently, I agree, because she's been off streaming. But we'll see that in a minute.
Yeah.
She feels like she's got to reassert herself because Bridges is just so dog shit and completely failing. Oh my god, I can't type. Holy fuck. I'm retarded. Like, man, this is not worth Destiny's time, is it? Where's the Patreon?
You might have two different people that are speaking about.
Dude, they don't even link it anywhere. It's so stupid, man. They get like fucking $600 or $900 on Patreon, I think. Like, ain't worth Destiny's fucking time.
Okay. That's probably going to be my night. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you like the stream, don't forget to sub. I am still on Twitch. And so if you type !Prime, you can give me your free Amazon Prime sub every single month.
Guys, this is awesome. Okay. This is awesome. Turn on your critical thinking for this next set of statements.
If you like the stream, don't forget to sub. I am still on Twitch. And so if you type !Prime, you can give me your free Amazon Prime sub every single month. I am trying to commit to streaming more often. I want to go back to diversifying my income. So I am going to be a little bit more dedicated to streaming. I'm considering a bunch of options right now. I'm going to buy some mobile stuff. And now that I'm in the States, I think I really like the Bridges idea and the humanizing stuff. I like that.
I'm diversifying my income. I really like the Bridges idea. I'm coming back to streaming. Guys, we need to start taking bets. How many months on Bridges? How many weeks? Oh my god. It's so good.
The Amazon Prime sub every single month. I am trying to commit to streaming more often. I want to go back to diversifying my income. So I am going to be a little bit more dedicated to streaming. I'm considering a bunch of options right now. I'm going to buy some mobile stuff. And now that I'm in the States, I think I really like the Bridges idea and the humanizing stuff. I like that part of me. And so I think I'm going to try to go to more rallies and stuff like that, kind of similar to what Luke Beasley does, but asking more like neutral questions. Yeah.
Doesn't content sound great? Don't you want to see Erudite out in public giving people DGG talking points?
Thanks for streaming, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to check my Patreon as well. I post a lot there right now. So pretty poggers. I'm working on like filming like little bits of me talking every day of just my thoughts and then putting it up on there. So tune in for that. Filming like little bit poggers there right now. And remember to check my Patreon as well. I post a lot there right now. So
you post a lot on your Patreon?
Pretty
Why?
poggers. I'm working on like filming like little bits of me talking every day of just my thoughts and then putting it up on there. So tune in for that. If you like hearing like 5-minute little thoughts from me. And if you don't, then definitely don't. And if you can't afford anything, that's okay. You can always support any content creator by just liking and watching their stuff. The reality is there's no such thing as a free viewer, free content. You're paying with your eyes and your views. So
editor here.
No, I'm not scrolling down anymore. That's fucking okay. That's so gross. Okay. All right. So I hope you realize why I had so much trouble watching that when I watched it off stream earlier. That was my second time watching that.